It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your afternoon forecast update. And we are getting closer to the end of kind of our last full day of sunshine and just nice weather before we get into a little bit of a change here. We get some showers and thunderstorms in tomorrow and lingering through parts of the weekend, and then getting some really cold weather early next week. So again, kind of enjoy it for the last little bit of time we have it here for a little while. But you look at their satellite and radar, and again, really nothing to show here outside of just a few cumulus clouds in the southern part of the state. And looking at our SkyCam tour, there is a lot of blue skies out there like we've been seeing all week. 72 degrees in Coleman, so we've warmed up fairly nicely, just a little bit warmer than yesterday in most spots. Dew points at 50 degrees. We're starting to see a little bit of moisture starting to return in the area ahead of this system that'll be coming in tomorrow, so that'll continue to happen, and so maybe it won't feel quite as pleasant, might feel a little bit more like a tinge of humidity coming back in the air, especially in the southern part of the state. In Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama, it's beautiful there as well. A few high clouds starting to make their way in, or at least off in the distance. It's 75 there, so definitely a good bit warmer in Tuscaloosa there. Dozier is at 80 degrees, so we have actually touched 80 degrees. We were thinking that was possible today, so we did hit that. Dew point at 56, so approaching 60-degree dew points in the southern part of the state. And as we move a little bit further towards the south of Dauphin Island, we're at 73 degrees, and we are in the 60-degree dew points. We're at 62 there right along the coast, and got a little bit of a breeze out of the east-southeast. That's helping to pull that moisture up into the southern part of the state. So here's a look at the temperatures right now. Getting pretty warm across most of the state, or pretty much all of the state. We're at 79 in Birmingham, so almost 80 in the central part of the state, or north central part of the state. 73 in Huntsville. We're at 79 in Troy. We've actually gotten to 81 degrees in Dothan. We're at 80 in Monroeville. So again, a few 80-degree readings showing up this afternoon as we've continued to warm up. Here's the forecast lows for tonight, so it definitely won't be as chilly as it's been earlier in the week, but we'll still be cool in spots. Expecting to get down in the upper 40s in the northern part of the state, only into the 50s though as you move further to the south. 51 in Clanton, 52 in Selma, and then maybe mid to upper 50s as you move further towards the southwest. And again, that's going to be as we slowly increase that moisture from the south over the course of the evening hours in preparation for that system to come through in the front to come through later on tomorrow and into Saturday. Forecast highs for tomorrow. It still will be pretty warm, especially in the southern part of the state, where we'll expect to get to 79 degrees in Dothan, 77 in Troy, even showing 80-degree readings in Anniston. So again, it'll be fairly warm, really, just in general, until that front starts to approach later on in the nighttime hours. So again, it'll feel a little bit more humid outside tomorrow. It won't be probably quite as comfortable as it's been here recently. So that's what we're watching for tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms moving through. We've got a couple of different rounds that we'll expect. It could be a little bit of an earlier start with a few showers and thunderstorms, especially in kind of the southern part of the state earlier in the day. And then we expect a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms fairly later in the evening and in the nighttime hours in the northern part of the state. And again, we'll have a few weekend showers and maybe a few thunderstorms lingering into Saturday and even into early Sunday morning. And then really cold air behind that, and potentially some snow flurries hanging around the northeastern part of the state for Monday. Here's a look at the kind of overall situation. So we've got the dry air that's been in place is again starting to erode, and we're starting to get a little bit more moisture in place. We've still got high pressure over us for now, but it's moving to the east, and whenever that happens, typically you'll start to see those winds turn around like they already have, starting to bring in some moisture off the Gulf. And then you can see the next system up to the northwest here, moving across the southern plains at this point. That front will be here as we get into late tomorrow night, bringing in the thunderstorms along with it. So here's a look at the severe weather outlook for tomorrow. And the last update has actually pulled the slight risk, the yellow level 2 risk, out of the state. So now basically the entire state outside that southeastern corner near Dothan is under that level 1 marginal risk. Doesn't really mean a whole lot there. We still expect there could be a couple of strong thunderstorms with this line as it comes through. So, you know, the threats still could potentially see a few storms that produce some wind gusts that are over 60 miles per hour, could knock down a few trees. There is a possibility of some small hailstones with some of them. And heavy rain is a low threat. We don't expect a lot of rain with this. Yes, you could get under a downpour if you're under a thunderstorm, but it won't be long lasting enough to create any sort of flooding issues. The tornado threat is not zero, but it's very low. and more like 2% from any given point. 25 miles from any given point. So we don't really think that's going to be an issue. We'll be watching the storms, as always, watching the radar just in case, but we're not expecting that to be a major issue for tomorrow. And then into Saturday, they're maintaining, the SPC maintaining a marginal risk, the level 1 risk across kind of the northern 3/4 of the state or so. That's definitely, I think, more conditional. Not totally sure that we're going to see much out of that secondary frontal passage that's going to push through late Saturday. So, again, could see a few thunderstorms, but I think most places will still end up staying mostly dry as we get through Saturday. Now, we're going to kind of walk through this step by step to talk about what's going to be happening here. So again, rest of the day today is calm. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, a few showers beginning to start to form maybe in the western side of the state, but nothing really significant going on there. As we get into the afternoon, a few scattered showers and maybe a little bit of rumbles of thunder. Some thunderstorms begin to start to form out ahead of the front. So we could have some places like Demopolis, Thomasville, Monroeville, and kind of the western and southwestern part of the state. Could start to see some thunderstorms. Could have a few of those be on the strong side. Even a few thunderstorms possible up in the northeastern part of the state as well. As we continue to move through the evening time, again, here's the time where we expect, where we've got playoff football games occurring. And so this is kind of a look at, again, this isn't exactly what it's going to look like, but something like this could be what it looks like. And you see a couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms in the southern or south central part of the state, and then you see some beginning to approach with the actual front into the northern part of the state, into the Tennessee Valley. So it looks like a lot of the games, especially in kind of the north central part of the state, likely will get away without too much in the way of any sort of rain or thunderstorms. It could be far northern parts of the state, and then places around Montgomery that might have a better chance of seeing a few thunderstorms during the game. And again, as you get later in the game in the Tennessee Valley, that's where we expect to get that line of storms along the front to move a little bit further to the south. So again, there's going to be some places, I think, for sure that are going to see some rain and maybe some thunder during those games tomorrow night. But then there will be plenty of places, maybe probably more places than not, that are going to not see any sort of thunderstorms. So I think we'll get plenty of the games in without any issues, but there will be a few that are probably going to be impacted by some rain and thunderstorms. As we get into Saturday, looking pretty sparse at this point for Saturday night. And again, this will be around the time that Alabama's playing LSU and Tuscaloosa. Of course, Auburn's going to be up in Nashville, and there should be good there. But you don't see any showers showing up near Tuscaloosa on this particular model. Still, there could be an isolated shower around, but looking like it should be mostly dry. And then as we get into Sunday, it's going to be very windy, and things start to clear out. Could have a few lingering showers in the southeastern part of the state. But the main story on Sunday is wind and cold air moving in. And there could be a shower or two, a sprinkle basically late Sunday as that final Arctic front pushes through. But really just mainly going to be cold and windy. Now here's a look again. There's a severe weather environment for tomorrow night into Saturday. So again, there is what you see here. You're in the possible part of the scale, and even the lower part of that. So it's showing that there are some ingredients, some instability, and a little bit of shear that could pop off a few strong thunderstorms, maybe a severe thunderstorm, but it's very marginal. And so we aren't expecting major problems, but again, we'll be watching it, obviously. And then again, as we get into Saturday, things look even more sort of marginal and conditional. And so I think tomorrow would be the main chance that we get anything like that. Saturday not looking as likely. All right, so we're going to talk about the football forecast. Now, we know that there are a good number of games that have been moved to tonight for the first round of the playoffs due to the forecast for potentially some storms for tomorrow. But we're not showing that because there's no problems. It's still beautiful. Temperatures will be falling through the 70s and the 60s. It'll be nice football weather for any of the games that did move to tonight. The ones that didn't move, here's the forecast for those. So this is the northern part of the state. So kind of starting off in the upper 60s, falling through the 60s over the course of the game. And again, you can see here looking at these icons that it's kind of off and on, and it depends on where you are. Some places might get a passing shower or thunderstorm, and then in plenty of places, probably more places will not. And so again, this is how we're kind of representing it here, that there is that chance of a shower and thunderstorm, but there will be plenty of games, I think, that get away without issues. And then for the southern part of the state, kind of the same kind of story. A different batch of showers and thunderstorms are going to be ongoing in the southern, south central part of the state. So again, most places probably will not have any issues, but there will be some that get a few passing showers and thunderstorms over the course of those games for tomorrow night, but the temperatures will be pleasant in the 60s generally. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. Again, for tomorrow, there's your chance of showers and thunderstorms, again, mainly in the afternoon and evening, nighttime hours. A few lingering showers possible on Saturday, but mostly kind of moving out over the course of the day. Sunday looking very windy in the northern part of the state and chilly. And then you see those lows getting down into the 30s. And then look at Tuesday morning. That's going to be the big cold freeze where most of the state gets below freezing or well below freezing. So 23 degrees is what we're forecasting there. Possible flurries on Monday. No impacts with that. Just maybe a few flurries falling in the northeastern part of the state. And then as we get into next week, the sun comes back. We start to moderate the temperatures a little bit, but still definitely won't be as warm as it's gotten here this week. Now for South Alabama, it looks like, again, same kind of thing, but just a little bit warmer. So we have the showers and thunderstorms that will be moving through mainly in the afternoon and evening for South Alabama as well. Then, a few lingering showers possible Saturday, maybe even a few on Sunday. That's kind of conditional at this point. Breezy, and then the temperatures falling as we get into Monday and Tuesday. Again, we expect the freezing temperatures to likely make it through pretty much all of the state. There could be right along the coast where you don't quite hit freezing, but generally the rest of the state will get freezing or well below as we get into Tuesday morning. And then after that, looks nice for the remainder of next week. Well, that is your Alabama forecast. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.